Senate Republicans set to begin marking up a budget resolution today. The House expected to begin moving tomorrow, but there's still a lot of a disagreement over whether President Trump's priorities should be packaged into one or multiple bills. Joining us now, former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. He is now chairman of the Alpha Institute. What do we call you now? Kevin, I guess. Yeah, you're Kevin. How you doing, Kevin?
I'm doing well.
Very good. Trying to think of how to get into this. It's interesting that the House seems to be kind of solid. The Senate seems to be solid, but they want to do different things. You know, one wants a wall, the other one wants tax. So I don't know where the disagreement comes in. But on the party itself, Kevin, think about the nominees that are going to get in. I mean, that's a reflection of, I think, Trump's hold over the Republican. Only one guy didn't get in. We don't need to mention any names. I know you'd probably like to, but only one of the nominees probably isn't going to make it. Does that mean that the House is solid under whatever we try, the Republicans try to do here? Are they solid? Is there not going to be one of those,
yes,
one of those Freedom Caucus revolts?
No, I think what you have to read is President Trump is stronger than he's ever been, not just in the Republican Party, but with America itself. He's bringing independents and Democrats along because he's doing exactly what he said he would do and why he got elected. The real MVP up on the Hill, though, is the Senate. And I got to give a lot of credit to John Thune. Think about this. They've been able to do all these confirmations, even though the Democrats are putting up every roadblock. They're getting that done. And now they're going to mark up a budget reconciliation before the House. And the House isn't even agreed to whether this could come out. I think the chairman of Ways and Means, Jason Smith, is right. Doing one bill would be the best way to go forward. But I'm interested to see this number that comes out of the budget in the House. If they're really marking to $4.5 trillion, that means you're not even doing the full tax bill as it is today for another 10 years. That's not including SALT. That's not taking away tax on tips or overtime, the things that President Trump wants. And I know at the end of the day, the president's going to get his way. So I'm not sure what the House has been doing this entire time. And then you got government funding coming up next month. So it seems as though they've wasted a lot of time. The Senate has used their time wisely, but I think Jason Smith, the chairman of Ways and Means, has been correct about this, and they should really follow his direction. How do you get there? And it's a lot of sausage we're talking about that we're making here. Just so the viewers understand. To be able to go to reconciliation, which allows you to pass this tax bill without 60 votes in the Senate, it's the strength of having the House and the Senate. Both chambers have to pass the same budget reconciliation bill. Right now, that's not the case. The Senate's going forward with a smaller one just to deal with the border, defense perspective, and then the House wants to be able to deal with the tax bill. Just to keep the tax bill as we have now with no changes costs about $4.6 trillion. But if you add SALT, tax on tips, overtime, you're going to need about another trillion. But the House Budget Committee looks like they want to mark up to 4.5. So that would mean you're not doing the tax bill for another 10 years. You're not adding the president's request. There has to be a better direction here, while at the same time, what are we doing about government funding that's coming due on March 14th? And what are you doing about the debt ceiling? You'd like to get that out of the way so you could really focus on the reconciliation. But it doesn't seem that both are connected together, focusing on the same plan.
So how do you handicap it? I mean, will there be one bill? And who needs to talk to whom? And who needs to come to Jesus? Who needs that moment?
Well, I think the entire House has to be in one place. For the House's strength, as you're sitting here talking, whether it can pass the House, that answers the question whether you need one bill or not. Because if it's so hard to pass something like this that the president wants, how can you do this 2 times? It's very difficult. So you'd want to get it all done in one bill, which you can do, but it doesn't look like that number is coming out of the budget. So the House doesn't look like they're in the right place. The Senate has another plan because they don't want to wait around for the House because they've waited this amount of time and they haven't done anything. The Senate has been doing confirmations, so they're going to move on a reconciliation plan that takes up 2 bills. And at the end of the day, whoever does the work will actually win. So if the House does their job, they could still be in the forefront, but they haven't done their job yet.
How do you see the we're seeing some friction between the judiciary and the executive branch now with DOJ. And it is kind of interesting because you can find, in the 13 districts, you can find someone that'll do whatever you want.
Always find.
If you're a Democrat. You can find.
You can shop the districts or the courts to get a decision that you want. Yes, politically.
So that's what we're seeing. So how do you get around that? What do you think? And then you're going to be accused of, ending as we know it, the Constitution, if you even question a far-left judge out in District 9, if you even raise an eyebrow, although it was done all the time in the last minute, the whole Supreme, they want to stack the Supreme Court, but you can't question a district judge, out in California.
You have the ability to appeal as well, but let's remember this. They did this exact same tactic against President Trump so he couldn't even run. He never gives up. And this is a big fight because think about how big this bureaucracy is. And it's never been audited as you go through this. And this is shining new light. You've got different eyes coming in and seeing. And the more transparency it is, I would always bet on President Trump and Elon Musk at the end of the day. And they're not going to give up. So, yes, there will be roadblocks. They will try to do these court actions, but I think they stay the course. They can appeal, and they keep moving forward. The American public is with them. This is what they voted for.